now.
Welcome back to the another podcast of Cyber Talks with Cyber GRC. Today we are unpacking the most misunderstood concept, and we can also say that is fascinating for most of the people, that is AI. As we all know that AI is everywhere in nowadays. So we are just clear the misconceptions of AI governance, AI impact, and AI impact assistance. Everyone talks about AI risk assistant, but what really happens before risk comes into the picture? Let's understand this today with the Cyber GRC expert, Mr. Love Johar. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good with that. How are you? I'm good
I'm
with that.
good
How are
too.
you?
So,
Yeah. Okay.
can you just give a small introduction, like what it is and how we can, like people misconception about it?
Sure. So basically, AI impact assessment is entirely different from AI risk assessment, right? So this is where the AI impact assessment
Yeah.
actually starts from. Okay. So here, if you see, it covers the societal risks, it
Hmm.
covers the legal risk, it covers the technical risk, it covers the ethical risk, operational risks. So all these are basically the impact areas which AI impact assessment will actually cover. So if you compare them with the risk assessment, it's entirely different, Vidya. That is where AI impact refers to the effect or the influence that an AI system can have on people, on organizations, on society, whether
Hmm.
positive or negative. Okay, it's much broader than the risk. It includes how the AI will impact the people at a broader level, right? So for example,
Okay.
if you have a AI recruitment system, the AI recruitment chatbot or AI recruitment bot, it can basically have a good impact
Hmm.
on the organization. For example, it can increase the efficiency, but at the same time it could be gender bias also, right, depending upon the data that you are feeding into that. So that is where we need to make sure
Yeah.
that the impact assessment is being done properly. Yeah.
Okay. But how do we define an AI impact assistance?
AI impact assessment is basically a structured process to identify, analyze, and evaluate what is the potential impact of that AI system before the
Yeah.
deployment, during the deployment, and after the deployment of that particular AI system, right? So it is like who will be affected by this AI system, in what ways are they affected, and across which domains are they affected. For example, there are 9 domains that the AI impact assessment actually talks about. So these are the 9 domains, Vidya. If
Okay.
you see, these are the 9 core domains on which the AI impact assessment actually depends upon. So these are all the domains that basically we check when we talk about the AI impact assessment.
Okay. My next question is, how is an AI impact assistance different from AI risk assistance?
So AI impact assessment is different from an AI risk assessment in the perspective that AI impact assessment is proactive, right? You are doing it beforehand just to make sure that you understand the impact of the AI on the society, on the individual. It's a proactive approach basically. Okay, it's basically to look at what could happen. Okay, what could be the consequences if I launch this AI system, if I launch this, AI bot or a chat bot or whatever is the case. Okay, what is the outcome? That is where AI impact assessment is focusing on. However, the AI risk assessment looks like how likely those outcomes
Hmm.
are going to be
Okay.
and how severe those outcomes could affect the organization basically. And also AI risk assessment is basically limited to the organization itself. However, impact assessment is related to the society, the impact on the individual, the impact on at a broader level, basically, right? So here, this
Great.
particular table will help you understand the
Yeah.
difference between these two. So as you can see, the impact assessment is basically focusing on the individual, the society, the organization. But the AI risk is basically covering
Hmm.
what could be the potential harm, what could be the consequences from that AI uncertainty if something happens, right? So
Hmm.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, focus of the AI impact assessment is basically on the consequences of AI usage. For example, when you are using the AI, what could be the consequence? Is the consequence positive or negative? And the AI
Hmm.
risk focus is basically on what could be the potential problems while you are achieving the AI objectives for your organization. Okay, so this is basically the main difference. Okay, and this is where we can get the output from a AI impact report, and the output of AI risk will be a AI risk register basically. So this is where both of them actually differ.
Okay, but why do organizations often skip or overlook the AI impact assistance step?
Basically, AI impact assessment is a new step that is being introduced in the ISO for 2001, and it is something that is new. Organizations are used to performing risk assessment since a long time. Okay, but AI impact assessment is something new. So, first thing is the
Okay.
awareness
Yeah.
that the organizations are lacking.
Mm.
Another thing is that is basically they need to understand
Mm.
how they need to do this. Okay, what exactly are the areas that they need to cover in the impact assessment, right? So some people understand that impact assessment is a part of risk assessment, which is not right. So impact assessment is basically about the ethical, legal, societal context of the AI. Okay, that is where that is the
Okay.
reason,
Yeah.
because of the awareness gap, this gets often missed in the organizations.
Why this happens? It's just because that like people are why they are not aware. What's the problem?
Because yeah, that's a good question. Because it's evolving, AI is evolving, right? It's all
Yeah.
new domain. It's a new domain altogether, and
Mhm.
because the standard is also fairly new, and the reason is that many people are not familiar with the AI implementation itself, and now we are talking about governance on top of the implementation, which is again a big thing. So because of this gap of understanding about the AI itself, the governance is more tough actually. So first of all, you need to understand how AI works. Only then you can go for the governance part, right? So that is where the major issue is. People are yet trying to understand the functionality of the AI, how the models are working, how the model drifts are happening, data drifts are happening, and how to control them, how to mitigate those issues. So that is where they are struggling more and more. They are struggling more towards the right performance of the AI rather than the impact
Okay.
assessment of the AI. That is where the focus is right now.
Next question is what are the 9 dimensions of AI impact organization should consider?
Yeah. So Vidya, as you can see on the screen, these are the 9 dimensions. We have fairness, we have accountability, we have transparency, we have security, we have safety, we have financial, we have accessibility, we have human rights, and societal effects. All these are basically the core 9 dimensions that any organization performing the AI impact assessment have to cover. Okay, they cannot skip these dimensions. If you skip any of these dimensions,
Okay.
basically your impact assessment
Mhm.
is not complete actually, right? So that is where you need to understand the core 9 dimensions, and you need to make sure that whenever you are performing the AI impact assessment, you are actually covering all these 9. Okay, you can't even skip one of these.
Okay. Any tip or advice you would like to give when we are applying this 9 dimensions to the organizations?
Yeah. So basically, when you are applying these 9 dimensions, make sure you do it thoroughly, because each and every dimension needs to be looked at properly. It should not be like a checklist. You should see the output of the AI, and
Mm-hmm.
that output should match with these dimensions. Only then it will make sense, right? It's not like a checklist that you have checked.
Right.
Okay, I've seen that this happening. No, 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 no. You have to check it with the output of the AI. You have to basically make sure that your AI is actually following these 9 dimensions at a practical level, not at a theoretical level.
Okay. Moving on to my next question. What at what stage of AI life cycle should an AI impact assistance be done?
So AI impact assessment should be done at the starting only, Vidya, because the sooner you do, the better it will be for the organization. So it should be done at the initial stage, the inception and design stage, where basically before even you start writing a code, before you even start, creating the model, it should be clear, that what
Mm-hmm.
exactly is the impact of this AI at a broader level, right? And then it should be refreshed. The AI impact assessment should be
Yeah.
refreshed after every major life cycle phase. For example, after development of the AI, after deployment of the AI, before deployment also, before you are deploying it to the production, and during operation and monitoring also, it should be done. It's not like a one-time exercise, I would say. And again, during decommissioning, while you are retiring the AI, you need to check the impact of the AI, how it was interacting with the users, how it was interacting with the data, whether the data is actually being in use right now when you are retiring it or not, how is it affecting to the humans, to the individuals. All those things actually have to be
Mm.
assessed at a periodic interval. It would not be a one time affair. Okay, it has to be continuous.
Okay. Yeah. Can you give a real life example of AI impact versus AI risk?
Sure, sure. We can have a real time example. We can have a practical example for the same, Vidya. Basically, you can take a facial recognition example. For example, you must have seen biometric facial recognition system, right? Which take a scan of your face. So in this case, the impact of this particular facial scan could be invasion of your privacy. Okay, could be racial profiling. Okay, could be because you don't know why they are scanning your face, right? That could be one of the impacts, but the risk here is that the probability of the risk is high, because if it is used in for public surveillance, it would become a very big issue. Okay, so it's a high risk, in that case. So severity will be critical, because it's basically, it can impact the public at a very very large scale. So basically, impact in this case is a societal harm which can happen. Okay, risk is basically the chance and extent of that harm, which can
Hmm.
basically, impact the society, and how bad it can go till what level is basically determined by the risk. Okay, so impact gives you an overall context. The risk basically drills it down to what severity level it can go. That's the difference. Okay.
Okay, moving on to our next question, that how do ISO 42001 and the EU AI Act address AI impact assessment?
So this is a very good question, actually, because it is imperative that if you are implementing ISO for 2001, you have to implement AI impact assessment framework. It is basically a mandatory requirement as well, in the clauses as well, and it is also given in A.5 to implement the AI impact assessment as a part of the controls also. So it is clearly laid out in ISO for 2001 in 8.4 clause, and from a EU AI Act perspective, it makes ensures that any high risk AI providers have to perform the fundamental rights and impact assessment before placing their AI into the market, right? So basically, both of these, ISO for 2001 and EUI Act, are shifting the focus from basically compliance to more towards accountability now. Because if you perform AI impact assessment, you become accountable for your AI system, right? So that is where both of them actually focus on the AI impact
Hmm.
assessment.
Okay, but who should perform an AI impact assessment?
So basically, Uh, it's a cross-functional team which performs AI impact assessment. It's not a one-person role. Okay, you have data scientists also who are working on the models. Okay, you have legal and compliance experts also who are providing you with what is the regulatory requirement. You have ethics officers, human rights advisors. You have specialist domains, subject matter expertise who understand what is the context of the AI, why it is being used. Okay, so basically, it's basically a cross-functional team, Vidya, and it's a team basically, not a single person can actually do this work.
Okay. What's the outcome or deliverables of an AI impact assessment?
So outcome, as we already see discuss, we basically get a AI impact assessment report. Okay, so in this report we have a summary of all the 9 dimensions, Vidya, like we discussed, all the 9 dimensions. What is the impact of that AI on those dimensions? Okay, how it is impacting those dimensions? What are the severity levels of the impact? And whether the impact is a positive or a negative impact? And how do you mitigate that? If the impact is severe, then how do you mitigate that impact? And basically, taking all those inputs and making them, adding them into the risk register is basically the output from the AI impact assessment. And then we take it as a baseline for our AI risk assessment and take it forward. That is how we basically go for it.
Okay, at the end, you would like to give our audience a advice or a tip, something?
Yes, definitely, Vidya. So when we have just completed one batch of AIMS as of 2001, it was the first batch that we have conducted at Cyber GRC, and it had people from Government of India. It was a lot of interesting discussion that we had in that. People from IIT, IIMs were there. Okay, and a lot of discussion happened around this AI governance part. So just wanted to add on to a few things that I want to give away from those training sessions that we conducted at Cyber GRC. More and more emphasis for any organization who is trying to implement AI should be given on the impact assessment first, rather than the risk assessment, right? Because once you understand the
Hmm.
impact, once you understand how the impact is there for the AI on the society at a broader level. Okay, only then you will be able to correctly do the risk assessment. Otherwise, if you skip this part, or if you do not conduct this part properly, it would become a huge issue actually for the organization. Okay.
Okay, so basically, we have to start every AI project with impact awareness, and your risk management will have purpose. You can't imagine or you can't manage what you haven't first understood, right? And I would like to tell my audience, if you want to know and learn how to implement AI governance in your organization using ISO 42001 AIMS, please join our next training batch at Cyber GRC. Thank you for watching, everyone. Catch you tomorrow with another episode of Cyber GRC. Thank you so
uh,
much. Okay, we
Vidya,
have
before we go,
a question
yeah, we have a question. Yeah, go ahead.
about rabbit hole risk.
Yeah, so basically, rabbit hole risk is basically a tendency of teams, of individuals, of organizations to basically drawn into, multiple complex, sort of things, rather than focusing on the original objective or the context of the risk. they actually start over analyzing, okay, over analyzing, over engineering, or over investigating. So this is basically one of the most important risks that anybody who is implementing AI should be careful about, and should be properly, understanding about, because there are a lot of things that will actually make you dive into this rabbit hole. Okay, so for example, for any particular issue, for any particular thing, people start debugging the AI model. Okay, they try to understand what is the model accuracy, whether it's working fine or not. Okay, so
Hmm.
they start doing that. But the debugging of AI model takes a lot of time, right? It's not easy. So it will have result into a lot of delayed deployment effort, loss of productivity also. So that is where you have to be very careful what you are looking at. Okay, so root causes of this are basically perfectionism. I hate to say that, but yes, that is one of the root causes of a rabbit hole risk. People try to be perfectionists. They basically do not understand that what is the exact problem area. They need to drill it down to the root cause and then only start to figure out that risk. So this is one of the reason why it's happening. And no proper prioritization on the risk is again one of the reasons why rabbit hole risk actually come into place, and it is one of the common issues in the AI deployments.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking that question. And if someone else want to ask something, they can drop the comments and put their, like in live chats, so we can answer your questions. And thank you so much for joining us. See you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye.